Okay, I was just watching the latest trailer for Transformers: The Last Knight. And I think this is the first trailer that I saw where I said, okay, this looks like it might be good. I've seen some of the previous trailers, and I was like, well, it's a Transformers movie, I'm going to see it anyway. It doesn't really have to convince me that it's good, but yeah, this one said, okay, this one might actually be good. I enjoyed the opening scene in the junkyard where Mark Wahlberg is trying to convince Grimlock not to eat the cars. I really hope they give us some personality and some dialogue from Grimlock. It's actually one of my favorite characters from Transformers, and he's basically got no personality when we see him in the previous movie. He appears, he fights, and that's it. So I really hope we can see some more of his personality, the big dumb lug that he is. They introduced a comic relief character, a pretty obvious comic relief character in that scene, someone that Mark Wahlberg had hired at the junkyard, apparently. Comedy relief in the Transformers movies are usually the worst part. But in this case, it looked like maybe he was, not dialed up to 11 like they have been in the past movies. So, yeah, he might end up being okay. It looks like they're going back to that old formula where the Transformers have been here in the past, this time, like in the days of King Arthur. And they left something behind that, we have to find, because that's the key to saving the day. And, every Transformers movie has done that so far. I was hoping when I was hearing that there was going to be this King Arthur element to it, I was thinking, it's like back in the old cartoon where they did that episode of Decepticon Raider in King Arthur's court, where some Autobots and Decepticons, low on energy, stumble onto a time warp and end up back in the days of King Arthur, fighting each other alongside of knights. And I thought they were going to be doing something like that, kind of like how they pulled the plot elements from another animated episode, The Ultimate Doom, for the third movie. But no, it looks like it's just another case of, no, they were just here before. And, which they've done in every movie. It's like they were here before at some undisclosed time when they crashed in the Arctic, or they were here before, at the time the pyramids were made, or they were here before at the time of the moon landing, or they were here before in prehistoric times. So it looks like that's just going back to that. But in this case, I think it may be knowledge that they left behind. I think they're kind of implying that, rather than some kind of super weapon or something like that. So that may be a more interesting twist on it. Looks like Prime is going to be the bad guy. We saw that from, really all the trailers. And I'm thinking that it's some kind of mind control or reprogramming. He's a robot after all. So I think it's something like that. I'll accept it if it's something like that, but if it's just they convinced Prime to go bad, I'm going to hate that. Some good guys should just be good guys. And Prime is if you'll excuse the pun, a prime example. They're not giving us much out of Hot Rod. Hot Rod's apparently going to be a big new character in the movie. Hot Rod, of course, in the cartoon becomes Rodimus Prime. He becomes leader. So I'm wondering if we're not seeing much of Hot Rod because that's going to be a big part of the story. Most of the time when we see him on screen, it's going to be leading up to him becoming a new leader. That I don't think they want to get rid of Optimus Prime. He's a very marketable character. Probably him and Bumblebee are the most marketable characters. Speaking of Bumblebee, they have some kind of weird element at the end of the trailer where he can get blown to bits now and put himself back together. Okay, I guess Bumblebee is indestructible now. I really don't care about that. I just want him to talk. I am so tired of this talking through the radio gimmick. I just want him to actually have conversations, so maybe we can get some good dialogue and have him have meaningful conversations. But, yeah, it's a Transformers movie. I always enjoy them on some level. So I'm definitely going to go see it. I was going to go see, even though I didn't see any trailers, I was going to go see it. So, you know, I'm just, like, I keep hoping that they'll be able to recapture the magic of the first one. And, you know, that being said, like, I enjoyed the second one when it came out. I don't go back and watch it again very much. I don't think it's held up as well. I think most of the criticisms of the Transformers movies are exemplified in the second one. The third one I'll go back to occasionally. I think it's overrated. It does draw some direct inspiration, does some direct adaptation from the cartoons, which is a little bit in the other movies, but more so in this one. And I do enjoy that, and I think the storyline, and I think we actually get some kind of emotional storyline with Prime and Sentinel Prime, and, you know, a little bit more with the robot characters that you can get invested in. The stuff with the human characters doesn't really go too much of that humor that doesn't work in there with the human characters. But, you know, as far as the story where the robots are concerned, it's a little better in the third one. The fourth one I was really disappointed in, just altogether. But I'm hoping we get something close to the first one. You know, close to that first Michael Bay movie with this. It does seem like it's still focusing more on the human characters than it should. But yeah, that's probably a cost thing, because the robots are CG, they're special effects. So anytime they're on the screen, it's probably costing more than it costs to have the actors on the screen. So that's probably why we see more humans than we really want to in the Transformers movies.